What's up, AIM athletes? It's Coach Ethan with D1 Training, bringing you D1 at home for Thursday, May 21st. And it's a lower body workout day. So once you complete an 8 to 10 minute warm up, you're going to go right into your performance segment, which I'm about to show you now. If at this point you would like to take a screenshot of the workout so you don't have to rewind the video in order to reference it, go ahead and do so now. All right, so we're going to start with single leg to double leg pogos. All right, you'll do 3 sets of 10 single leg pogos, and then move on to 10 double leg long quick, and then 10 high and powerful. All right, so I'll demonstrate what one set will look like. So you'll start on one leg, very soft bend underneath. Think about pulling that toe up towards the shin as you bounce. So you're here, knock out 10, immediately switch to the other side, knock out 10, and then immediately go to long quick. Once you get 10 there, then you're going to go 10 high and powerful. All right. So once you get 10 single, 10 long quick, 10 high and powerful, that's one set. You'll give yourself 30 to 40 seconds between each of those sets, and you have 3 of those. All right. So once you complete your pogos, give yourself another 30 to 40 seconds before moving on to your high knee sprint here. All right, you're going to do 8 sets of 40 total ground contacts, all right, which means toe taps, essentially. That toe striking the ground or the ball of the foot striking the ground. And you'll rest 30 seconds between each of those 8 sets. All right, so for your high knee sprint, all right, just make sure you're driving that knee up to hip height, keeping that toe pulled up towards the shin like so, and getting those elbows back. So as this elbow travels back, this elbow should travel forward. So back pocket to eye socket as your eyes move, and those knees should travel up to hip height every time. Stay nice and tall, and have a slight lean forward in your upper body. So it should look like this. So you're here, all right, keep them elbows back, continue to drive those knees up, all right? Once you get 40 reps, then you're done. You'll rest 30 to 40 seconds before moving on to your next set, all right? After you complete all 8, give yourself roughly 2 to 3 minutes before moving on to your resistance training here. All right, so we have a few more hops and jumps before we actually move on to some squats and lunges. We're going to start off with A1 and A2. We're going to do skater hops doubles, 2 sets of 4 on each side, and then lateral vertical jumps, 3 sets of 4 on each side, so 8 total. All right, I'm going to go ahead and demo those. So for skater hop doubles, all right, if I'm working my left leg first, all right, or left side first, I'll hinge back at the hip slightly, soft bend my knee, lift my right foot, and I'm going to jump to my right and immediately come right back to my left. So that's a double, okay? Reset. All right. And I'll do that 4 times on my left side, and then move to my right and do the same thing 4 times. 1, 2, and so on, okay? All right, after you complete a set of your skater hop doubles, you can give yourself 20 to 30 seconds before moving on to your lateral vertical jumps, all right? You're not really going too lateral here, okay? Your emphasis is more on your vertical jump, getting up as high as you can, all right? But I'd like you to practice moving, shifting just a little bit sideways in the air before you land, all right? So just envision or pretend that there's a road cone, maybe mid-ankle height, okay? You're just gonna get up as high as you can, and you're going over it and then landing softly in an athletic stance on the other side before returning back. All right, you don't have to return back quickly. All right, so you're here. I have a ceiling here that I can touch, so I'm not gonna jump up too high, all right? I'm gonna try to do the best demonstration I can. So you're here, soften the knees, hands down, hips back, and then jump up as high as you can. Land. All right, start back tall again. All right, and you're just going to continue to do that. All right, so lateral vertical jumps. You're only jumping sideways a foot or so. All right. All right. After you complete that, give yourself a few seconds before moving on to B1, B2, and B3. So you'll do 2 sets of your skater hops, 3 sets of your lateral vertical jumps, and then move on to the B segment here. We're gonna do speed squats for 3 sets of 40 reps, lateral lunges for 3 sets of 10 on each side, and then a single leg RDL, moving slow, 2 sets of 8 on each side. All right. So we have speed squats first. All right. If you want to use a lightweight, you can. You'll just hold it in this goblet hold position, like so. I'm going to step into your light so you can see it. All right. But body weight, you do just fine as well. Okay. So go about shoulder width, maybe slightly wider with your feet. Turn those toes out slightly. Soften the knees. The movement happens at the hips first. So hips go back. All right, as soon as you get parallel, you come right back up. And as soon as you get to the top, you go right back down. So it's for speed, so you get up. All right, just make sure your weight isn't shifting forward and your knees aren't coming forward first, causing those heels to come up and causing a lot of pressure to go to the knees. We want to still focus on good form, getting those hips back. All right, and it may help to extend those hands out a little bit in front for balance. All right, and it's for speed. Once you get 40, then you're going to move on into your lateral lunge. We're going to do 10 on each side. All right, you'll start in a nice tall position. You'll lunge out to one side, whichever side you want to start on. Lunge out, plant that foot, and then same thing with the squat. Movement happens first with the hips, then allow the knee to bend. Right, knee goes under the ankle. Shin stays aligned over the foot, and then drag it back up, and then alternate. All right, same thing there. You'll get 10 right, 10 left, and you continue alternating until you're done. All right, and then the third exercise in that sequence is your single leg RDL, nice and slow, for 8 reps. Okay, I'll give you a front profile and then a side. So I'm gonna work my right leg softly to my knee. All right, I want to focus on keeping my chest and my eyes up. So this leg is going to be nice and long. I'm just going to hover my foot above the ground, all right, and then rotate through my hips. So as I rotate, I'm going to try to keep my hips and my shoulders as square to the floor as possible. I don't want to turn out. Okay, I want to keep square right in front of me. So softly with the knee, move through the hip, let that back leg go back. As soon as I feel a good amount of tension in the hamstring, I'm going to pause, and I'll come right back up. Going down slow, coming up is your regular tempo. Okay, so we're just going to focus on controlling it down slow. You need to have a slight pause at the bottom and then come up at a normal tempo. All right, I'm going to get a side profile, but I'm going to use my left for this time. Soften my left leg, right leg nice and long, foot elevated. All right, moving through the hip, shoulders and hips stay square. Notice my leg goes back, pause, and come up. Okay, just like so. All right, you get 8 reps on each side. All right, and you continue to move through those until you're complete with all your sets. And then we're going to move on to C1, C2, and C3. Sharing the workout with you again, we have an alternating reverse lunge for 2 sets of 16 on each side. All right, glute bridge walk with a leg extension this week, 2 sets of 20 on each side, and then a lateral squat hold for 2 sets of 35 seconds on each side. All right, so a lot of single leg or single-sided stuff here. So we're keeping the sets at 2, but we're bumping the reps up. Okay, so alternating reverse lunge. All right, nice athletic stance. We'll step back with one foot, drop that back knee. All right, get it nice and tall, and then drive back through with your front leg. All right, you come back up, and you're gonna alternate. So step back, drop that knee down, and come right back up. Make sure you're not crashing that back knee into the ground, and make sure you have a large enough step to go back, and drop that knee, and then drive right back up. All right. So you want to take that large step so you're not crowding yourself. You don't want to take a shallow step, what I like to call it, and then drop. Now that knee is forced to go here, all right, and that heel may come up, put a lot of pressure in that knee. We don't want that. All right. We want to be more at 90 degrees in the back knee and 90 degrees in the front knee, or give or take a few degrees. Okay. So right here, still a good lunge. Even though my front knee is not at 90, my back knee is not at 90, that's still a good lunge. Drive through that foot and come back up tall. Okay? All right. You'll alternate those for 16 each side. Once you're complete with those, you'll move on to your glute bridge walk with leg extension. All right, you're going to do that for 20 on each side. So you're going to go to your back. All right. Feet down on the ground. You should be able to tap your heels. Then you know you're in a good position. All right, keep your legs in line with your hips, arms down at an angle. or you can have your arms bent, but make sure you're driving on the elbows down into the ground to add some stability when your hips go up in the air. And then keep that lower back flat against the ground. All right, when you're down on the ground, that will set your rib cage up. And make sure you're not overextending through the lower back. So right here, you're gonna come up to start. All right, and then you can lift one leg and extend that leg out, bring it back down, and you're gonna alternate, okay? Just make sure you're not extending up too much through the lower back like that, all right? You want those hips kind of stay rotated under. You want to be in a straight line pretty much from the shoulders to the knees, here and here. You want to mainly feel it in the glutes and the hamstrings, all right? So once you get 20 on each side for your glute bridge walk, we're going to do a lateral squat hold. So when you do your lateral squat hold, similar to that lateral lunge we did, step out, hinge back at first, then on the knee to bend, and you're going to hold it in this low position. This leg should be nice and long. As you can see, it's more or less like a kickstand, just helping you maintain balance here. All right, you're going to hold that for 35 seconds, so you need to set a timer, whether it be your smartwatch or smartphone, or just a old school stopwatch. All right, once you get 35 seconds on one side, switch, immediately start on your other. Just make sure that heel is down and that knee is back. Make sure your hips are back in order to keep that heel down in the front leg. All right? And once you get through all three of those exercises, we can move on to D1 and D2. So get into some core work here. All right, we're gonna do flare kicks for, let's go 3 sets of 40 reps and plank pull-throughs for 3 sets of 12 on each side. All right, so for flutter kicks, you're gonna be down on your back. Legs out nice and long. You're gonna pull those toes towards your shins and elevate your shoulders a little bit to engage your upper abs. Okay, so legs out long, right? And you're gonna start with flutter kicks, just like so, right? Your feet shouldn't go much higher than about 3 feet in the air. Okay, and you want to keep them about 4 to 6 inches from hitting the ground. All right, if it becomes too difficult in order to keep your back flat, you feel like you're arching your lower back and pressure is going into your lower back, you can take your hands, right, and put them underneath your hips, all right, right there, and it'll kind of help you keep your hips tucked. That way your back can stay flat and allow you to put the tension into your core, all right, if you need to, all right? And then once you get those completed, you'll grab a weight, kettlebell, or a dumbbell, probably into a plank pull through, right? So you're gonna offset this to the side, doesn't matter which side, because you're gonna get the same amount of reps on each side anyway. You're gonna go into a plank position and make sure it's even with where roughly the top of your abdomen would be, or the lower part of your chest. Hands directly underneath your shoulders, and you can widen your feet out a little bit wider than your shoulders in order to keep those hips and your body from rotating. All right, so you want to be able to lift a hand without your hips dropping, without you having to compensate and rotate, all right, like so. So lift that hand, reach and grab that weight, pull it through, plant that hand, reach to the other side. You're going to continue to alternate until you get all of those reps, all right, like so, just like that. All right, so that's your core work. All right, make sure you get 3 sets on both of those, and you're alternating those exercises until you're complete with both. And then there's some additional work to complete, all right? So we have a 60-yard shuttle, 8 times, all right? You're gonna be covering only a 15-yard space, but working for 60 yards, okay? And then give yourself 60 seconds rest between each of those 60-yard shuttles, okay? So you only need 15 yards, okay? So you'll need 4 landmarks, okay? Your starting line, walk 5 yards. That's your second landmark, walk another 5 yards for 10. That's another landmark, walk another 5 yards for 15, okay? You're gonna start at that very first line. You'll sprint, okay? Sprint and touch the line. If you touch with your left, turn back this way, and then touch the back line with your right. Act as if you are mirroring an opponent that's out in front of you this way, Okay, you would never turn your back. So if you're gonna touch with your left up here, you're not gonna turn your back and touch with your left back here. Okay, so whatever hand you're touching the line out here on, let's keep it the same. So you'll touch it 5, 10, and 15 with your left, but every time you come back to the back line, you touch with your right. Okay, and we'll alternate that every other rep, all right, or every other time you do the 60-yard shuttle. That way you're getting that turn in on your opposite sides and pushing off with that opposite leg and turning with hips and shoulders. Okay, so I'll demonstrate. I don't have much room here, of course, but you're going to sprint 5, touch with your left, sprint back, touch with your right, then sprint 10, turn around, go quickly, touch with your left, sprint back, touch with your right. Then go 15, all the way down, touch with your left, and then finish through, back through the line, 15-yard sprint all out. Okay, and you're done. You don't have to touch coming back from 15. The next time, you would do the opposite. You would sprint and touch with your right on each of the lines out in front, and then on the back line, you would touch with your left. Okay, pretty simple. And then just make sure after all of that is completed, all right, you'll complete your ACL Play It Safe, okay? And that program will help limit the risk of a lower limb injury during any type of physical activity that be practice, physical strength and conditioning training, or gameplay. So really important, help lessen the likelihood of an injury. I'd hate for something to happen and see an athlete get set back, okay? Because no athlete wants to get injured, and that's why we're working hard to make the body resilient and strong so that doesn't happen. Okay, so very important, spend an additional 8 to 10 minutes at the end of the workout, and then you'll stick with level 1. If there's not a piece of equipment that you can utilize, go ahead and skip that exercise and do what you can, all right? So very useful, and it's free to utilize, so I would go ahead and take advantage of it if I was you, all right? Other than that, I hope you have a great Thursday workout. It's a lower body day. It should be fun, all right? I'll see you again soon. Go crush it.